Okay, welcome everybody. I'm Angie. My business is Green Health First. Thanks so much for joining me today. We are going to be talking about how essential oils support our body, our mind, and our environment. I always like to start with the first quote, the quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson, that the first wealth is our health. And we are definitely going to be talking about natural solutions for healthy, empowered living throughout this class. What I'd like you to think about first, though, are what do you want to get less of in your home? What do you want to have less of in your home? And so I'd like you to actually think about your top 3 things you'd like to address naturally and write those down. And let's talk about those after the class one-on-one. But there are 6 things listed here. Obviously, less sleep issues. I think many of us deal with sleep issues. And of course, we just had the time change here. So those are things we're going to be challenged with in the coming days. Less emotional or mental issues, less digestive issues. Do we want less respiratory issues? Again, we're starting with spring and most of us are dealing with allergies. We'll talk about that through the class as well, but definitely less respiratory issues for me. Less skin or hair issues, or less pain and inflammation. So what of those are your top 3? I also love this quote by Hippocrates: "Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food." As you see in the wellness building blocks pyramid there, our foundation is our food. Eating right, eating whole foods helps us digest better. Having good hydration helps us also, to push toxins through and have good elimination. But of course, above that in the lifestyle, we do want to incorporate the exercise, being outside, having good fresh air, getting good rest, managing our stress, doing cleanses to help us reduce our toxic load, and then also having good informed self-care, which is what we're doing right now with our class, and then having proactive medical care as we need it. So we do have safe, effective, and affordable health solutions, and we certainly can, we'll be talking about those today, how we get those into our everyday, our health. So we have the modern approach. We have lots of choices. The modern approach to Western medicine is designed to manage symptoms. I was a pharmaceutical rep for about 11 years, and I definitely saw that people were being put on more and more medicine and not getting well. And what we look at, what we have in that field is a lot of synthetic agents that really address symptoms and not get to the root cause. And they have a lot of side effects. We do see the side effects listed in the literature, but we also have side effects ourselves because we're all uniquely made and may respond differently. Our global healthcare is a $6.5 trillion per year spent system. And my question is, are we healthier? I would say we're not. When you look at the amount of disease we have in our world, but also with the fact that we just went through a pandemic, there are some things that we are challenged with really indicating, are we healthier? So the 2 questions I have for you, if you want to unmute, are what percentage has diabetes increased since 1960? If you want to unmute, if you know the question, you can and answer the question. If you don't, I'll give it just a couple seconds and then I'll answer it. So what percentage has diabetes increased since 1960? So the answer is actually 700%. Since 1960, we have had just a crazy amount of people being diagnosed with diabetes. That tells me we're not healthier. And we have a lot that we can do differently that could prevent that. So the second question, how long does it take for the average American to consume the same amount of sugar that our ancestors consume in a year? 200 years ago, used to consume in a year. So how long would it take us? If you know the answer and you want to unmute and answer the question, you're welcome to do that. I'll give it a couple seconds. So the answer is actually 2 weeks. It takes 2 weeks for us to consume the same amount of sugar that our ancestors did 200 years ago in a year. So what can we do differently for our health? We can do lots of things to be more intentional about what we bring into our foundation, that nutrition that we get, on that wellness building blocks pyramid. So when we, like I said, we have choices. The natural approach will help us to use whole foods. It will actually address the root causes, as the data shows in our medical literature. And we can use our plants to do that. We can use our whole plants by using them in our foods, but we also can extract, like making teas, or extract using to get the essential oil. And typically, the essential oil is much more powerful than a serving of what we typically get. I'll talk about that in more detail in a few minutes. But when we do use what God gave us naturally, it's actually going to work more efficiently to enhance our physical and our emotional health. And it's safe for us to use that way without having negative side effects. A lot of times we can have side effects, but typically they're good side effects when we use what's natural. Not to say that we won't have sensitivities, or we may not be allergic to certain things in nature, but for the most part, they are designed and with the right nutrition and the right form for our bodies and our minds to use efficiently. So this is what the class is all about, to learn what essential oils are and how we're going to use them. And when you look at essential oils, they are the immune system of the plant, as documented in our medical literature. And so they are what help the plant to thrive and to help keep it from being attacked by diseases or things in nature. They are typically designed to be in the leaves, the seeds, the stems, the flowers, like for lavender, many of our flowers like chamomile that we make teas from, or the roots of the plant like ginger. As you see on this slide, we have peppermint and lavender, and we can see their oil sacs microscopically shown. And this actually shows you the different level of sacs that we would have in our plants, and that's all how God designs them to, again, help keep the immune system of that plant healthy. When we do use our essential oils that are 100% naturally derived, they are 50 to 70 times more powerful than a typical serving of essential oils. And when I say a serving, that's usually 1 to 3 drops that we would use. That's going to be about the same as what we'd have for our essential oils that come from doTERRA. Why are they effective? Because they are the immune system of the plant, and they are an oil form. They actually can pass through the cell membrane to help the cells actually stay healthy. They can get rid of toxins and impurities. So we, on all of our essential oils, have them work on the cellular level to get, again, to the root causes of whatever may be ailing us or diseases that may be forming. When we look at our market, though, we have a lot of different grades of essential oils in our market. And the biggest grade there, the pie, of course, is synthetic. That mirrors a lot of what we have in our pharmaceutical world and our Western medicine world. And that is kind of disheartening. What I would definitely recommend, if you're not going to use a doTERRA essential oil, which has the data behind it, and we'll talk about that in just a minute, to show that it is the top brand for purity, I would use the food grade, because we do know that at least if we're going to use those extracts that we have to use when we're cooking, that they are safe for ingestion as they have been labeled. There are a few companies that are really being diligent to ensure they're producing therapeutic grade level essential oils that are used more in the medical world. And then the CPDG is what doTERRA has actually founded or set as the standard, and that stands for Certified Pure Testing Grade. And this actually is a wonderful, I guess, foundation for us, because we actually use 54 tests to bring our products to market and to show that they meet that chemical makeup that's in our literature, which shows that it is 100% what it says it is. When you look at peppermint here, peppermint, it takes 3 pounds of peppermint leaves to derive a 15 milliliter bottle. And I use peppermint all the time. When we look at using 3 drops that is very affordable. The cost of peppermint and also lavender are in the same cost range. It comes out to about 30 cents per 3 drops that we would use as our serving. And that is very, very affordable. So 30 cents per drop. Now, some of our oils and products can be a little bit less than that, and some of them could be more and closer to $1 a serving, but we're still looking at much less than what our servings would be with a lot of the synthetic options that are on in the market in the medical world. So from centuries of use, we have set the foundation in our medical literature showing the many therapeutic properties that we have documented. This is a very busy slide. So just look at this. I'm going to have one example with respect to how many ways that peppermint can help us, because that's my kind of go-to, peppermint. Peppermint has antibacterial properties. It has antioxidant properties. So with those antibacterial properties, it's going to help us with our digestion. It's kind of one of the top ones, along with ginger, that is documented for many of our digestive issues. It also has very strong anti-inflammatory and analgesic properties, which means it's going to help with pain relief. So we're looking at joints and muscles, and we're looking at headaches that peppermint can relieve. And then antidepressant properties like boosting that mood or helping with reducing stress and anxiety. It also has anti-tumor properties, so very good documentation for helping with many of our diseases and cancers. Many of our products have a plethora of these types of properties for improving our health and of our mind and our body. And when you look further at the therapeutic properties, these are how they can help us. And all of our body systems basically are positively affected when we use the essential oils. And the benefits can come from different ways that we use them. So we can ingest them, as I mentioned, by putting them in our tea or extracting them and using them in our foods. Actually the herbs themselves, whole food-wise, we could put right in our foods. So much of our plant material can be used in that manner, but also topically, we could take those extractions and we could put them in lotions or salves, or we could put, like for in the sense of the essential oil, we could put them straight on our skin to use topically. And sometimes we might need a carrier with that. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And then aromatically, of course, for any of our essential oils, you can just open the bottle and actually just breathe from the bottle if you'd like. And the aromatherapy has such long documentation in our medical literature in showing its benefit. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. But the other thing is you could use a diffuser, which is very similar to a humidifier, where it puts the vapor in the air with the essential oil to help benefit you in your breathing, your mind, and of course in your environment. So this is one of the ways that aromatherapy came about, and it started exploded in its acceptance in our medical world, and that is the Vanderbilt Hospital study. I love this study because Nurse McBride was looking for something that was going to help with anxiety and stress in the ER. And she did a research and found that all of our citrus oils have very strong antidepressant properties. And so she set her study up as a survey before, letting folks diffuse any of those oils, combination of oils, over 30 days, and then doing an after survey. And many of the questions had very positive answers, which really was on the use of essential oils in our medical community. One of the questions that I love is that it asks, how often do you experience work-related stress? And of course, it had several answers: never, occasionally, and then all the way up to very often. And when you got to the very often question, the before was around 47%. Many people said very often they experience work-related stress. At the end of the 30 days, it was down to 3%. 3% of the people saying very often. So that was a huge, huge difference for all those working in the ER. And of course, I'm sure the patients also benefited as well. We have several studies ongoing and have published several studies since 2021. And that is over to the right here on our screen. And one of the studies looked at, one arm of the study that was published in 21 looked at purity. We looked at more than 80 different brands, and nothing came close to that chemical makeup that's in the medical literature to what we have as far as the doTERRA products. The first product that really was looked at was lavender, and now we have several products that have shown the variability to be less than what it means to be labeled pharmaceutical grade. That means that the variability from batch to batch to batch, I think they looked at 13 different batches of each of the products they studied in the studies. The variability came in at less than 3%. To be labeled pharmaceutical grade, it has to be less than 10% variability. So that chemical makeup and the ratios that were in the oil were very, very consistent. And that is huge for us. So we are able to use our essential oils in the medical facility. In fact, places like Vanderbilt, as well as Johns Hopkins and Duke, all are using our oils to run research studies and are published in medical journals. And we're the only company out there that is occurring with. So again, we have 3 different ways that we can use essential oils. I've talked about using them aromatically, just opening up the bottle and breathing it or putting it in a diffuser. I've talked about topically, where I put it on the back of my neck. I actually use peppermint and orange as my first experience to help with hot flashes. And within 30 seconds, I was actually cool, and it just blew my mind. And so that was when I had that epiphany that I've got to start researching this, and I've got to start learning about what is in nature and what's in our medical literature and how we can live better, more intentionally, with our food sources or our natural resources. And then of course we talk about the internal use, where we can use it in teas or in our foods. I actually put peppermint in my water, and I drink peppermint water quite often, but I also use a lot of citrus in my water as well. And I also use the oils in capsules, and many times I'll just put them right on my tongue. So when we're looking at using them topically, as I mentioned, I put them on the back of my neck. That takes about a minute or so to get into the bloodstream. The fastest way to actually get it into the body is on the bottom of the feet. And you can see from this diagram that we have several different nerve endings on the bottom of our feet, where we can have it affect changes in different areas. And so what I recommend when people are going to use it on the bottom of the feet, to try to get it at the top of that big toe all the way down to the beginning of the heel, and massage it in all around. And then that way you're able to affect changes in many of those places. Now, of course, if you wanted to be more intentional, like if you had an earache, you'd want to just effectively massage in something like a lavender and tea tree in those 2 spots under the 2 little toes to affect a change in your ear. When you use essential oils on the bottom of the feet, it takes only about 15 seconds or so to get into the bloodstream. So you're going to have a very good, efficient change in an improvement in what you're looking for. And again, when we're looking at internal, many of our essential oils, as I showed you, the biggest part of the pie is synthetic. So many of the brands out there will say on there, not for internal use or for external use only. And when it says that, and it comes from a plant we know we can ingest, like an herb, a sprite, spices or fruits, then that is something that we have to go, okay, why? Why can't I take this internally? This is something I use in my foods. It should be safe for me to use in an essential oil form if it is 100% what it says it is. But unfortunately, the FDA has only one rule, and that rule is that it only has to contain 8% of whatever it says it is, like for the peppermint, 8%, and that can be labeled pure. And that is just crazy to me. So what is the other 92%? I'm a science person. I want to know. I want to know what I'm putting on my body or in my body. And I want to know what the other 92% is. With doTERRA, you don't have to question that. It's 100% peppermint if it says peppermint. The other thing about the definition of pure on the website is that the FDA website is that it doesn't distinguish between pure natural and pure synthetic. So that doesn't mean that it's actually plant derived. I do have a YouTube channel, and there is a video called A Lesson in Purity, where you can learn more about how that, what it means to be 100% pure. But one of the things to look for when you're looking to ingest your essential oils is, does it have a supplements facts? The supplements facts is what's on all the food in our pantry. And so it should be on the oils as well if you're going to ingest them. But my rule of thumb is if you're going to use them, no matter how you're going to use them, they're going to end up internal. So whether you breathe it in, whether you put it on your skin, or whether you take it in internally, it's going to end up internal. So it doesn't really make sense that it says not for internal use. So when you look at the 2 simple ones, orange and peppermint, which were the 2 that I was first introduced to, that started me on this journey. You can see the many ways that that orange is documented to help us. And all of our citrus have good anti-cancer, anti-tumor, carcinogenic properties. But peppermint, of course, orange, I keep saying peppermint. Orange has great antidepressant properties. I love orange for its invigoration and all of our citrus just to give you that pop of energy and to wake you up. But you can see here where it actually says it can help with insomnia. So if we're in that stage of our day where we really need to relax, it can help uplift your mood and your brain. And by doing that, it's helping to reduce cortisol levels, which in turn helps you to relax. So that also can help set your stage for actually going to sleep. When you look at peppermint, you can see here how many ways, as I mentioned, it can be used, and it does carry antioxidant properties. A lot of people think you just get antioxidants from the plant material itself, the organic plant material, but you actually have those properties carried in our essential oils. So I use peppermint and orange, and peppermint most of the time by itself now for my hot flashes. So it's absolutely awesome for fever, but it's also, as I mentioned, going to be great for digestive health, along with many of our herbs like ginger to help with our digesting our foods and getting rid of toxins. It's also going to be wonderful for helping with your headaches or your pain or circulation, and it's key for allergies or respiratory issues. And it is allergy season, as I mentioned. So lemon, lavender, peppermint are the go-to for helping with allergy, mitigating those symptoms and getting to the source of the problem. Of course, we do have another blend called Brie that's very good for the respiratory system too. We'll talk about in a minute. I started using these internally. I would just put a couple drops of each in water and take that with a mouthful, swishing for about 30 seconds, because that is the fastest way to get it in our bloodstream, is internally or under the tongue. And so I do that with about 2 ounces of water with those different oils in there. And then I would take those out, swallow. Now we have the Tri-Ease, and the Tri-Ease is a soft gel with the Brie in there, and so that's kind of my go-to. I always make sure I take it before I go to bed so I don't have that congestion and that post-nasal drip waking me up, but I always do it first thing in the morning as well, so it sets my day, and as I'm getting out into the environment, not having issues. I'd be remiss to not talk about frankincense and myrrh. They are our ancient oils, and they are the foundation of our essential oil lines. They actually offer and are documented for cellular protection and regeneration. They've been used in the cancer world for decades. They have strong anti-inflammatory and pain relieving benefits, frankincense especially, and neurological or cognitive issues are effectively addressed with frankincense as well. You can see the many ways that they both help in the infographic there. But whenever you think about frankincense, we have the tagline, when in doubt, use frankincense. It is the king of oils, and it will help enhance and help every other plant work better. This is a product an oil that I definitely want to emphasize. It's a wonderful product that has similar properties that we get from things like frankincense, but it works in a different system. Mostly, it has a strong presence in the same system where CBD works. CBD has been exploding in our market as well, and we're seeing we have to do our research just like with the essential oils to ensure we're getting a good quality product. But here you can see that it's been used for the copaiba or copaiba, as I like to refer to it, has been used since the 1600s. It's very, very good for helping with pain relief, anxiety and stress relief, digestive and skin issues. There are no nervous system issues that you can have with the CBD, no risk like that, and no bans on its use like our military and our government, which cannot take CBD. So this is a great thing to have on board. If you've been having any sort of issues that are persisting, like pain issues, and you've tried a lot of different tools, this is a great option to have on, because it's probably because you don't have anything working in that system, and that system is probably dominant. So when you have something like copaiba, black pepper, or clove, which also work in that system on board, then you've got all your bases covered. So when we look at immune support, again, with the allergy season and the spring season, the transition of seasons, we definitely need to keep our immune system strong. We've talked about frankincense, but oregano is your nature's strongest natural antibiotic as it is designed. And has been documented, and it has wonderful anti-infectious or antibacterial, antiviral type properties. It also has very strong antioxidant properties. Oregano is one of your hottest oils, though, so you always want to make sure you use that with a carrier oil like olive oil or coconut oil or grapeseed. It will help to neutralize that heat. Just like with peppermint, peppermint can have a icy hot feeling. You can use it if you need to. I normally don't need it myself. I just love that cooling feeling that it brings. Tea tree is another one that helps with infections. Its strongest property is actually antifungal. So it's going to be wonderful for fungal type issues that we can have with our skin or our nails or even in our gut. A lot of times we can have those imbalances in our gut is our second brain. So we definitely want to make sure we take care of that. And of course, On Guard is orange clove, cinnamon, eucalyptus, and rosemary in its blend, and it is designed to help with supporting the immune system and cleansing and disinfecting. I use On Guard in many, many ways around the house to clean. When we look at our medicine cabinet basics, of course, we have lemon, lavender, peppermint. We've talked about peppermint extensively. Lavender, we haven't talked so much about, but it does have those very strong antihistamine properties. So using that in combination with your lemon and peppermint and their properties is really what helps with mitigating our allergy issues. But lavender is mostly known for helping with reducing stress, helping with sleep, relaxing. I love it in my kitchen because it is wonderful for skin and bites. It'll take the itch and the burn away in no time. In fact, if you use it for burns with peppermint, most of the time you're never going to have a blister, which is awesome. I mean, I burn myself often when I grill. So this is an option that I definitely make sure I have that available to me in my kitchen. Lemon, of course, as we talked about, all of our citrus have antidepressant properties, but they also have very strong antibacterial and antiviral type properties. And they're going to be great for cleansing. Lemon, though, is well documented to help with blood pressure and regulating that. When you look to the right at the Digestin and the Breathe, of course, those are awesome products that are blends for helping with all those issues. And as you can see, peppermint's in both of them. I love the two of them. There is a couple other blends that feed the same purposes as those that we can talk about in another class. And certainly, if there's anything that we've talked about along the way that you want to have a class on specifically, just let me know after the class is over, and I'll be glad to schedule that. So last key segment to look at is the mood and emotional support. And any number of those we've talked about already will help with grounding or stress relief or even anxiety or tension. These are three blends that we have in our repertoire that I absolutely love. Balance is my go-to. I actually have it in a roller, and I use it on the back of my neck. It's called the Grounding Blend. Leads with spruce and evergreens, and it has frankincense in it. It's just one of my favorite ones for helping me to focus and relax. Adaptive is our calming blend. In Serenity and Adaptive both are lavender led, and Adaptive though has orange and spearmint and copaiba in it, along with a few others. It is well documented to help with behavioral health issues, emotions, but also with people who have ADHD. Serenity is our restful blend, so definitely a great blend with chamomile and a few others for calming, cedarwood to help you relax to go to sleep. So again, think about those top three issues that you want to address, what you want to feel more of and what you want to feel less of, and let's talk about those after this. One of the ways we can actually help you see the things that can work for you is to do the biofeedback assessment. That is a scan that will actually help you see through the electromagnetic energy where your body's out of balance, and then it will provide suggestions for things that will help you to have a more efficient improvement to get to the goal you want. it's a wonderful way to be more intentional. And I'll be glad to schedule that with you after the class if you'd like. So how do you get these natural solutions into your home? You can, through a referral link from me, get them retailed, or you can, through a referral link from me, get them wholesale, and that's 25% off retail. You can also buy an enrollment kit, and your membership would be free. The normal membership is $35, but it's free through my referral link as well. And these are some, well, this is a initiative that I'm in called Silver Club, where you can get some free products with lavender touch or with citrus bliss, depending on the size of your order. And we do have some free products you can get with doTERRA, depending on the size of the order as well. But with Silver Club, you can see some of the kits that are available. The starter kit, a Healthy Start kit, gives you a diffuser. You get the lavender free. The Healthy Habits kit, you get our foundational vitamin pack, and also some probiotics and enzymes that go along with that. Our vitamin pack we didn't talk about, but we certainly can in another class. It's our #1 selling product. It has a 30-day money-back guarantee. And as we indicated, we have to make our food our foundation and make sure we're getting good quality nutrients to keep ourselves healthy. The Natural Solutions Kit covers all the bases. It's going to cover your pain, your respiratory, your digestion, your everyday needs when you look at that. And you get both the lavender and citrus bliss and a diffuser free from doTERRA, which there are some other choices besides the diffuser. So whenever you do buy doTERRA essential oils, you are changing your life, but you're also changing the lives of those who are producing them, the farmers. We co-impact source, and our goal is to help people live better in other areas of life, and we pour into them to help educate them and help them to have a better quality of life. This is my info, and so if you are interested in following up and would like to get some products wholesale, I do have a green tea line that I would love for you to learn about. And I do have a YouTube which tells you in many of our videos about those, but I would love to help you get equipped and empower you to reach your goals for your body and your mind and your health. I'm going to stop sharing the screen, and if anybody has any questions, I think we have just a couple minutes. I'm glad to help you learn more. And Kathy, are you unmuted? Victoria, thank you for being on. I see you there.
Thank you, Angie. I was just going to say thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, I hope you guys learned a lot. I hope that, again, if you have any questions, let's address them in a separate phone call or Zoom class. All right, I'm going to stop the video recording, excuse me, and I hope that